you're doing it right, you will not make money being a foster parent. And let me make that clear. If you're doing it right, you will not make any money being a foster parent. Today we have a topic for you that is something that comes up a lot, and it's something that people are curious about or apprehensive about if they're looking to become a foster parent, and that's the topic of money. So we see this question come up, whether it's how much money do you make fostering, how much does it cost to foster. So what we're going to cover is really just what is the financial obligation of being a foster parent. To start off, I do have to say that this is going to vary depending on your state, on your county, and whether you're with a private agency versus a county agency. So what I can do is I can speak to what our experience was like, and when we were actually selecting a county or an agency, and what considerations, because financial stability is very important for you, for your family, and for the kids who are going to come into your home. So definitely, looking into what that looks like is not you being selfish or trying to figure out how much you can make fostering. It's really just setting you up for success so that you can be financially secure. Because if you're bringing a kid into your home, you should not be worrying about paying your bills or getting them the things that they need. When we were looking at whether we wanted to go with the county agency or a private agency, we decided that we were going to go with a private agency. And the reason being is that Cincinnati is interesting. We've talked about this in our early videos, but the downtown Cincinnati is called Hamilton County. That Hamilton County does not have a county fostering option. They outsource to all of the different private agencies. So what that means is when Hamilton County, the city, gets a child who comes into foster care, they take that child and they tell all of the private agencies, this is the child that we're looking for a home for. And then all the agencies come back and present a family that would be a good fit for that child. And then the city picks based off of those responses. So what we decided is there's a huge need for foster parents in the city of Cincinnati. Even though we're outside of the city, we're kind of in the suburbs and we're in a different county, we're able to get licensed through a private agency in Cincinnati. So I know that's a little complicated, and I'm sorry to go down that rabbit hole, but that's why we decided to go with a private agency. Another reason we decided that is because the private agency that we selected has a lot of resources that we can tap into so that we can support a foster kid in our home more than we could if we were on our own. So just to speak to that a little bit, an agency or a county is going to provide a per diem. That's what they call it around our parts. And what that means is for however many days the child is in your home, you get a set amount for each of those days. So if a child is with you for 15 days and the per diem is set at a certain rate, you multiply that rate times the amount of days, and that is your per diem in order to provide the needs for the child. That per diem amount depends again on your state, your county, and honestly even the age of the child or the development or behavioral needs of the child. So again, I'll speak from our experience. Our experience is that our agency determines the per diem based on the age of the child, which actually is pretty smart because the older the child is, the per diem is very, very slightly more. That's important though, because when you do have older kids, their needs are different than a younger child. So you have different skincare routines, different clothes, or resources that they need for school. All those different things play a factor. They're going to eat more because they're bigger kids. They're growing. All kids are growing, but you can't convince me that a 14-year-old is going to eat less. Well, no, I take that back. a 14-year-old could eat less than, an 8-year-old, but it just depends on the kid. But anyway, so the per diem is a set amount depending on the number of days. So again, if you're a foster parent or you're looking to be a foster parent, definitely look at what the different options are. Now, why we picked our agency, I mentioned this before, is they have a lot of resources outside of that per diem that helps us best support the kid. What that looks like is every quarter, every 3 months, we get reimbursed a certain amount for normalcy expenses and clothing. So normalcy for us looks like Miss A's cell phone. We're able to reimburse some of the cost of her cell phone, her monthly plan, as normalcy because she's a teenager and she's a responsible teenager. And in order for her to stay connected with her friends and her family and to be a normal, which I hate that word, but a normal kid, she's going to stay connected. And of course, we're not going to get into the cell phone issue. I know some people have strong opinions for or against it. But again, just make sure you know your kid and what fits that normalcy for them. This also looks like, if they're going to go participate in, a fun thing, if you have an amusement park or, something fun that they can be a part of or go and do, that can count as normalcy too. So for us, this is a huge benefit because we're able to give experiences to the kids in our home that otherwise we might not be able to afford ourselves. So that's what normalcy is. Clothing reimbursement, this is huge. So again, these kids are growing no matter what age. If you're a parent, that, one season you can have a set amount of clothes and then as soon as you go into the next season, they don't fit it anymore. Or, you can't wear shorts year round. So, a kid is going to need a different wardrobe depending on the time of year. And by the time they circle back that next year, they might not fit that old clothes. And some kids in foster care, they're coming with very little clothes to even start with. So, typically when we have a kid who comes to us, our first thing is to check and see, hey, what do you need? Sometimes we're going to need underwear, socks, pajamas, shorts, jeans, tops, just like everyday stuff. You really have to start from scratch and build their wardrobe up. The clothing reimbursement really, really helps. If you have a teenage boy, they're going to have, probably some height jumps where one day they fit their jeans, the next day they're, high waters and up to their calves, and kids are filling out. They're growing. And so clothes does not last that long. So it's very easy for us every 3 months to go and take Miss A shopping and see what does she need to replace because it doesn't fit, or maybe she's worn it so much it's not in the best quality. And again, that's why we chose our agency, because we're able to give her we can support her better through those reimbursements. So let me take a step back and go to the per diem. So the cost of kids is great. Kids are expensive. They are going to stay with you. So it doesn't mean that the cost of our house goes up, but you have to supply things so that they're comfortable. So, furniture, stuff like that supports them, that costs money. From a day-to-day perspective, your electricity bill, your water bill, it might go up a little bit. That's what that per diem is trying to offset some of those costs. Also, the more kids that are in your home, the more you might be driving to and from places. And so again, that per diem helps offset that gas and that mileage cost. Another thing is food. Again, depending on the kid, your grocery bill is going to increase. There's no way around that. So, the short answer as far as like how much money do you make or what's the financial obligation of fostering, if you're doing it right, you will not make money being a foster parent. And let me make that clear. If you're doing it right, you will not make any money being a foster parent. Even the months where I tried to kind of settle up and see, okay, what were the reimbursements? What was the per diem that came in? And then, what were our costs? Even if there's a gap where there's an extra $200, if you look at the time in travel, in support, in training, in all the things that you do as a foster parent, it's pennies on the hour. So, like I said, I'm going to say it again. If you're doing it right, you are not making money being a foster parent. However, if you love what you're doing and if you want to make an impact in kids' lives, it is so incredibly rewarding. And, again, if you're interested in it, make sure that you're going to agencies and counties and asking what financial support do they provide, what resources do they have access to. Again, our agency is really well known in the community, and so they're always telling us about, free events and, movie tickets, and so they offer those opportunities, which is great. Also, around the holidays, depending on the agency or the county, I feel like I'm a broken record, I'm sorry, but I feel like I should say that. But depending on the agency or the county, you'll also have, maybe they provide some school supplies. Maybe they get donations from the community around Christmas time. Maybe they have resources that, can help you. And so we have a healthy balance of, using those resources. And when it isn't appropriate for Miss A, she has 3 siblings. And so a lot of the stuff that she's either growing out of or doesn't find a use for, or it's been given to her and gifted to her and she doesn't have a use for it, she's able to pay that forward and give it to her younger siblings, which is a beautiful thing and something that I think every kid should learn to do, is to have that giving heart. So there's a lot that goes into answering that question, and it's complicated, so there's no direct answer. But just know that if you want to become a foster parent, don't let the financial stop you, because there are different organizations where you are that will help support you with resources. You don't have to go and buy brand new clothes when your kid, grows into a different size or it's a new season. There's always secondhand places that have good quality stuff. So you kind of just have to be a little bit smarter with your money. So don't let that stop you. And for those of you who do think that people who are foster parents are in it for the money, I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely not the case. Because again, if you're doing it right, a foster parent will not come out with more money. It's just not possible. Now, that's not to say that there are people who find a way to, have multiple kids. We know that this happens, unfortunately. That's again why we are doing this channel and sharing our experiences to inspire others to get out there, to be involved, to help support foster families, to become a foster family if you have the good intentions, because there are good people who, can provide an amazing home for these kids. That's what I have to say about that. I hope that answers your questions. If you have additional questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And now we are going to take a quick second and tell you a little bit about who has sponsored this video. Go to hellofresh.com and use code BeTheVillage10 during HelloFresh's New Year's sale for 10 free meals, including free shipping. HelloFresh is now from $5.66 per serving.
Hey, what's up, guys?
This video is brought to you by HelloFresh. They are sponsoring, and we are avid fans of HelloFresh.
It's been what, like 2 months now?
2 or 3 months.
It's been a while.
we've been using them, and we just love the flexibility of using, their meals. We can always pick from a long list of absolutely delicious recipes. We kind of balance between like the family-friendly, like really hearty meals like tonight, which is delicious spaghetti, and then also some like lower calorie options. So we try to balance that out.
I feel like each time too. So now that we've eaten so many of their meals, we've got like 3 or 4 favorites.
Yeah.
So every week we try to like get one that we've already had that we like.
Yeah.
And then we like try to try something new. Because we do the 2 meal option. So there's 2 meals a week, 3 meals a week.
So for us, it works best that we get 2 meals a week. And so, yeah, we try to stick with our favorites, but then also try something new and different just to kind of explore what options we have. And so today we're eating spaghetti, and it's something we've tried before. Absolutely delicious.
Very tasty. Another thing that I personally like is the sustainability of it, because everything comes pre-portioned. We're not wasting a lot of food.
Yeah.
And
a lot of it's like recyclable.
Yeah, the box that's shipped in it, and a lot of the contents inside too. So not a lot of waste. What do you think about that, bud?
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So it took us about like 20 to 30 minutes to make this meal, which saves us a lot of time to make a meal that's so so good for the family and has vegetables and, all the things that, you want your kids to be eating. It definitely saves time. Also, I don't have to worry about planning out meals because they're already there for you. You don't have to worry about making sure you have all the ingredients. So we're not running to the store every day making sure that we have the right stuff, which we have been there and it's tough.
No fun.
All right, so let's eat. So go to HelloFresh.com and use code BeTheVillage10 during HelloFresh's New Year's sale for 10 free meals, including free shipping.